Thank you. I'd like to thank our leader, Nancy Pelosi, for the continuing fight that she has led with, not only in our committee, helping us to design strategy, but the assistance that she's given to all of us who serve on the Financial Services Committee on the floor as we have constantly pushed back on the over 40 or so attempts that the Republicans have made to dismantle Dodd-Frank and the fiduciary rule. And so, the executive actions on Friday by the president to so-called review the fiduciary rule and to establish core principles for regulating the U.S. financial system described accurately would be simply an attempt to dismantle protections for seniors and dismantle Dodd-Frank. These directives show once and for all that when push comes to shove, Donald Trump will always put the interests of his pals on Wall Street over the interests of the American people. With this administration, the hashtag Wall Street First couldn't be more accurate. What's more unnerving is that during the divisive campaign that Trump ran, he repeatedly accused Hillary Clinton of being in the pocket of Wall Street. He claimed that he would drain the swamp and put America first. What a pack of lies he told. Wall Street is running Trump's White House. For example, Trump was quick to name Goldman Sachs alums to his administration, making Steve Bannon his chief strategist, nominating Steve Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary, and he also appointed Gary Cohn, a Goldman Sachs lifer, as head of the National Economic Council. Cohn waltzed away from Goldman Sachs with a $285 million severance package and into the White House with plans to make his buddies on Wall Street even richer. Last Friday, Trump unveiled these two plans. First, of course, there was the executive order aimed at taking apart Dodd-Frank page by page. This executive order was clearly written by the banks. I encourage all Americans to read it, not for what it says, but for what it doesn't say. For example, the first so-called core principle is empower Americans to make independent financial decisions and informed choices in the marketplace, save for retirement, and build individual wealth. He isn't saying that we need to rein in predatory lenders. What we need to shut down, that we need to shut down payday loan sharks, that we need to make sure that investors aren't ripped off. He's saying what he wants, thing goes regulatory regime. Kickbacks, predatory practices, the worst of the subprime meltdown. He's telling us that it's all fair game as long as someone can make an informed choice. And if you choose wrong or you're duped, I guess that's on you. We had that kind of system before we knew exactly how it turned out. It led to financial crisis that started when banks and unscrupulous mortgage brokers steered unsuspecting Americans into poorly underwritten predatory subprime loans, and then Wall Street packaged those loans, lied to the investors about their contents, and then bet that they would fail. And in the ensuing chaos, the banks got bailed out while Americans lost $13 trillion in household wealth. 9 million Americans lost their homes to foreclosure, and the unemployment rate climbed to 10%. But Trump wants to go back to those days because for him, Wall Street comes first. This administration is also misleading the public by saying that Dodd-Frank is hurting small financial institutions. The data doesn't back that up. Community banks' income levels are up 12%. They're making more loans than the big banks, and the credit unions have seen their membership members expand. In fact, the numbers show that banks lending to businesses has increased 40%. All of this is since Dodd-Frank. This industry profitability, 10, applies to banks of all sizes. All banks have been making money hand over fist post Dodd-Frank, with banks having posted a record profit of $43 billion last year. Dodd-Frank isn't hurting their bottom line. But a $43 billion record profit isn't enough for these guys. They and their families in the White House want more, and they're willing to strip away the important consumer and investor protections in Dodd-Frank to get it. The executive memorandum on the fiduciary rule is no different. Trump is trying to undo the hard work that went into the Department of Labor's rule to protect seniors, savers, and retirees. Most people don't know that when they go to start saving for their retirement, that sometimes the person they've gone to for advice is recommending investments that are in the advisor's interest and not in the client's. This kind of conflicted advice has cost American savers $17 billion each year. Trump's memorandum would send that money straight back to Wall Street. Trump's actions prove that he and his administration are all about enriching some of the richest people in this country. It's the billionaires and millionaires looking out for each other. In Trump's America, Wall Street comes first and Main Street picks up the tab. Thank you very much. We have other members who are here. Brad Sherman next. Thank you.
We're doing by seniority, and we've been joined by Congressman Al Green of Texas, who's a member of the committee as well.
Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks, CPA and 20-year member of the committee. On the issues of Wall Street and the big banks, Trump sounded like he was Bernie Sanders. He's now creating an administration that looks like Goldman Sachs. The effects of this Trump executive order and plan are insidious. They don't have the immediate tangible effect. His executive order on visas and immigration, immediate effect, immediate pushback, immediate reduction, at least in its immediate effect. Obamacare, people will see it if it's repealed. They'll know it immediately. But what about changing Dodd-Frank? Well, as our leader pointed out, a Wall Street Journal article today says that